Ever have that moment where you feel the ground tremble beneath your feet, but no one dares to say it out loud? Like something seismic is brewing in the shadows, and Detroit's heart knows it before the city itself catches up. You hear whispers. Behind closed doors, footsteps in the tunnel, eyes locked on the line, and suddenly the whole linebacker room is no longer just that weak spot everyone wrote off last year. This isn't just another signing to file away in a roster dump. It's the kind of mood that makes you lean in closer, clutch your Lions cap a little tighter, and ask out loud, could this be it? Because insiders have been talking, murmurs of a veteran force rejoining the fray, a man who didn't just wander from team to team, but crushed the drills at Vanderbilt, earned All-American honors, and fought through the trenches of Houston, Tennessee, Philly, Denver, before Detroit threw its hat in the ring this May. The name? Zack Cunningham. Now, I can already hear fans saying, Zack who? But trust me, this is no filler, no depth chart afterthought. This is a player who's about to change the tempo in a linebacker room that's been crying out for a shakeup. Picture the lineup now. You're Campbell, you're Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Grant Stewart. This is a symphony of rising stars and seasoned warriors. But Cunningham? He's the missing chord that might just rewrite the defensive soundtrack from a whisper to a roar. We've been starved for that spark, that grit, that veteran savvy to plug the holes, cover the ground, and let the young guns breathe and grow. We remember all too well what it feels like to get punched in the gut year after year. Since '91, this city's been on and off the roller coaster, hungering for more than just flashes of potential. We've trudged through rebuilds that felt endless, from the dark days of Caldwell to the hope sparks lit by Campbell and Holmes. This feels different. Because what if Cunningham's arrival means the Lions' defense is no longer a sieve, but a fortress? What if his clutch tackling, football IQ, and leadership in the locker room ignite a defensive renaissance we've been begging for? What if this is the turning point that finally honors Detroit's gritty, relentless spirit? Spirit that never backs down, never quits. Imagine the possibilities. A linebacking core so stacked that opposing offenses hesitate before even calling the play. That third down coverage that turns nervous into breakdown. And a sideline charged with an energy that can shake Ford Field to its foundation. And yet, with every hopeful surge, the question haunts us, what if this is our shot that slips through our fingers once again? What if Cunningham's fire can't kindle the cold steel of a defense gone stale? What if the chemistry just isn't there, and the dream fades before it really starts? But I won't let that thought take root, because I'm convinced Brad Holmes saw something in Cunningham that others overlooked the diamond raw, ready to cut through the noise. And if this is just the opening move, just wait until the next domino falls. Because believe me, Detroit's not just coming back. We're coming for blood. So if your pulse is racing just thinking about a defense reborn, if your heart beats with the Lions roar and your soul aches for the glory days, light up the comments below. Tell me you believe, that you're ready for this fight. Because the fuse is lit, my friends. All that's left now is to wait for the explosion. Enough silence. Roar now or forever be forgotten. Because Detroit's breaking free from the chains. And the ground beneath Ford Field's concrete is trembling with anticipation, ignited by a single question. Are we finally waking up from the nightmare that has haunted us for decades? I've seen the pain, the heartbreak, the false hope that burned out like a dying ember after the 0 to 16 nightmare. Remember that? The absolute abyss of despair that made us question every fight, every dream, every breath taken at Ford Field was just a fleeting illusion. And yet, through all of that darkness, there was always that flicker something waiting to ignite, a spark buried beneath the rubble of broken promises. We saw glimpses of it in the glory days when Barry Sanders' feet danced through defenders like poetry. Calvin Johnson's gravity-defying catches rewrote the impossible. And the defense that dared to take on all comers with unrelenting fury, until the day Jim Caldwell's coaching carousel spun us into chaos. Until the playoffs turned into heartbreak, again and again. What if this is different? What if the Sands of time have finally shifted, and the Lions are poised to carve a new era, one that demands every ounce of grit, every ounce of belief we hold close. I know the whispers behind closed doors, ex-Rams, Titans, even former Hydra agents turned. Detroit insiders talking about Zack Cunningham's return like it's not just another signing, but a seismic shift, a potential turning point. They say Cunningham isn't just about tackling with brutality. No, it's the football IQ, the leadership, the mentality that cuts deeper in Detroit, because this city's heart isn't meant for cowards. It's built for warriors who bleed, blue, and fight through every trial. We've been waiting for a linebacker who can be our defensive anchor, someone who's seen the worst of the NFL trenches and come out taller, stronger, hungrier. And now, with Cunningham's veteran presence ready to anchor a room of rising stars, Campbell leading with his relentless fire, Barnes playing with those instincts that sometimes feel like he's cheating the game, Malcolm Rodriguez and Stewart. Hungry as hell, suddenly the landscape shifts and the doubts start to crumble. What if this is the move that finally forces NFC North rivals to ask, can Detroit do it? What if the Lions crippled for so long, battered by false dawns, and missteps are finally ready to punch through the glass ceiling that kept us on the outside looking in? We remember the heartbreaks, the last-minute collapses, the false hope of that wild card run, and those brutal losses that made every Sunday feel like a test of our resilience. We remember Calvin's retirement, a gut punch so raw it echoed through generations, and Barry's untimely exit that left the void impossible to fill, yet somehow Detroit refused to stay down. We carried those wounds, turned them into fuel, and now, with Holmes strategizing behind closed doors, a new chapter is just waiting to be written, one where the defense isn't a sieve but a fortress, where the offense breathes easier because the opposition fears the steel in our backfield. This isn't just talk, people. This is the moment we've long fought for, those restless nights, pondering whether the Lions will ever shed their cursed past, or if we're doomed to chase shadows. What if Cunningham's arrival is the spark that ignites the entire Detroit? Fire, knocking down every obstacle, silencing every doubter? Because I can feel the stadium vibrating, the city holding its breath in anticipation, and the universe waiting for us to finally prove that Detroit's spirit isn't just resilient, but relentless. And yet, amidst every hope and doubt, the question remains, what if this was all a mirage? What if Cunningham's veteran grit, this symphony of rising talent, and the raw power of Detroit's legacy aren't enough to finally unlock the playoffs, shift the tides, or set us free from the endless cycle of heartbreak? What if the past comes roaring back, and Detroit's moment of redemption slips through our fingers once again, leaving us staring at that starless sky asking, is this the year, or is it just another false dawn in the city that never sleeps on its dreams? Because deep down we know the truth. This is our moment, or the moment we risk losing everything we fought for to the ghosts that haunt our history. And as the darkness presses in, the roar of the crowd builds to a fever pitch. But what if we're only just beginning to scratch the surface of what Detroit is truly capable of?